Good morning, everybody. Welcome to installment goodness knows what of my Krista and Becca Ritchie readathon that I'm doing with my lovely friends Haley and Zoe. Today, I actually started this last night. I'm reading The Secret Ex-Boyfriend, which is the second book in the Circus Family series. There's currently only 2 books. I would like to start a petition. Can there please be more? I need more. In case you couldn't get that, if you have not read, well, obviously read the failed audition first and then this, but if you have not read these yet, do yourself a favor, read it. Love doesn't even cover the feelings that I have for this book. And this book, please check particularly with this book the trigger warnings. Hold on, they've got them at the front. Excuse me. This book contains adult language and graphic scenes, including situations that may trigger reactions. Such situations include grief and loss, bulimia, depression, kleptomania, and various forms of abuse. This story is meant for readers 18 or older. So do keep that in mind before reading this book. If those are things that you don't want to be reading, then don't. However, I love this. And this book is already tearing me to pieces, and I'm that much through. That's not very good representation. Again, Goodreads is not giving me a percentage. It's just saying you're on page 138. I'm like, I know, I just told you that. Anyway, so I'm on, it says Act 14, which is essentially chapter 14. Oh, and my bookmark. That's Bailey. That's the main girl. Oh, but Luca, my darling. Oh, he is breaking me. He just seems like so lovely. Like you can tell he cares about like everyone but himself. Essentially, that's the vibe I get from him. Like, you know, he always wants to make sure that his people, well, not even just his people actually, he just cares about people in general. But essentially this is like a forbidden romance because essentially when I think Luca was 15, Bailey was 14, they were caught sleeping together essentially, and that was not allowed within the circus, just regarding relationships. It's interesting. So relationships with people who are 18 and above in the company, because of what they perform, it's almost encouraged really, because they want to have, you know, they want the passion to be shown on stage as being effortless. But with minors, it is not allowed, because they essentially, it's the whole thing of like, you know, you are put into our care, yada yada yada. So they get broken up by the company, and they're forced to keep it a secret. Bailey gets moved to, or is it Luca? Somebody gets moved to, like, within the same company but just in a different city. But we now fast forward a number of years and they're now back in the same act, the same, you know, same area, same circus, but they still are not allowed to be interacting with one another. Well, actually now at this point they can have a work relationships, but they can only talk about work. And apparently there's also people spying on them. And even though they're now over 18, they're still not allowed to be together because of a contract, like a non-disclosure agreement that they essentially were forced to sign, because both of them, their families are very much like, you know, they're inextricably linked to the circus. So they're like, you know, circuit, like the series is called Circus's Family. Like if they leave the circus, they leave their family. They don't know anything but the circus, to be honest. And so there's, you know, there's a lot of tension. That you see a lot more of the Kotovas in this book, including Sergei. One of the, so is it the brother who's, I think it's the brother who's 2 years older than Nikolai, and Nikolai is the guy from the first book. But oh, Luca, he almost had me crying when I was on my walk, and I was like, this is not okay. I had to pause my book for about 5 minutes and just be like, I need to collect myself. But I love these two. I love these two. Part of me thinks I almost love them more than Thora and Nikolai. I mean, I know if you saw my vlog from what it will be yesterday for you, well, no, it was still yesterday for me, but just different timelines. Anyway, you saw I was loving it on Nikolai. I was like, oh, yes, please, and thank you. But Luca, he's just, I mean, he's probably more so like the type of person that I would like anyway, which is just very caring and very sweet. And for some reason, I don't know what my problem is, I seem to always like the ones where they've got some kind of issue. There's some kind of issue, and it's like the whole thing of like, I can be there for you, I can help you, which is so bloody stupid. Because if you think about it, right, book guys that I adore. Nate Hawkins from Icebreaker is you know, he lost his mum at a young age and not good relationship with his dad. Azriel from the Akhtar series, don't even get me started. Lauren Hale, obviously alcoholism, complicated relationship with his dad. Then we have Garrison Abbey, who has abusive brothers and honestly abusive parents as well, because his parents just, they are, what are they called? Something bystander. Anyway, they just let it occur. They're like, oh, boys will be boys. Love in other words, well, no, something does happen to Elliot, but I loved him before anyway. You know, like that, what's my issue with these men where I'm just like, can I give you a hug? Like, can I help you? Also, we see more of Kat. Oh my god, why I've had a blank of her full name because Bailey refers to her as Kat. Katya. We see some of Katya in this as well, which is really nice because I like her. She seems really sweet. But yes, if you have not read this series yet, please do. Please do, because if what it takes is for more of us to read these books, fangirl over them so we get more, then, you know, oh, I didn't like how my arm did that. We need to do this. We need to do this. So those are my thoughts right now. In short, love this, tearing my heart to shreds. Love these two. Oh my god, this almost flew off my bed. Okay. Anyway, love this, love these two, want to continue reading, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, major green flag for Bailey right here. She hated Scott Van Wright in Princesses of Philly from the get-go. Whereas Nikolai yesterday in the book, he actually liked Rose and Connor together at the beginning. I mean, I'm guessing he wouldn't still after things that came out about Scott, but it's just like, Bailey knows what's up. Bailey knows what's up. But anyway, what is occurring so far is Luca and Bailey have like met up somewhere like away from like their living quarters and stuff like that. And she gave Luca like a list of things that she can't do with a guy because basically she always thinks about Luca. So essentially now they have this thing where they're like, oh, we just need to get this like out of our system. And so they're doing each of the romantic activities on this list, so then they can essentially get over each other because, oh, they've done it one last time, and the whole thing of because they were together when they were like 14 and 15, that maybe they're just not compatible in that way anymore. Most doubtful, but anyway. So essentially, like, Luca is trying to help Bailey because basically Luca has been with other women. Whether he has felt the same connection with them as he did for Bailey, you know, that has not occurred. But he's still been with other women where she basically hasn't because she can't, because she's always thinking about Luca. But now Katya has got herself into a bit of bother because the others noticed that both Luca and Bailey are gone, but they're not supposed to be together. So then Katya has now hidden in her wardrobe, so the others think that she's also missing. It's this whole debacle, but I love the Kotovas. I love them. I love all the chaos. Anyway, my arm's getting very, very tired now, so I'm going to continue reading because I'm about to drop my phone. They're having lunch at like a food truck, and like Bailey has ordered a bunch of stuff, and then Luca goes, what was your second choice for lunch? And she said jerk wings, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll get jerk wings. This man ordered food that he knew that she also wanted, so then she can have some of the other food. Oh. That's just so cute. Why do I find that so cute? So basically, the new choreographer is an absolute arsewipe. Like, he is a horrid, horrid being. And so he goes to Bailey like, what kind of high risk things can you do? And because he could see that she had burn marks on it because she used to juggle with something that was on fire. And he's like, right, you have to tell me what other things that you do. Otherwise, like you have to do a plank for 3 hours. And so she says that she can juggle with machetes. And essentially the choice that she has is to either start doing the juggling with the machetes again or do the 3-hour plank. Even though I don't trust this man, I feel like he's still going to try and make her do it anyway. But anyway, she decides to do the plank. Honestly, fair enough. And then Luca like comes through, like, because he was like, you know, in the background. He comes through and he comes right next to Bailey, and then he starts doing the plank himself to kind of join her for the 3 hours. And then her brother Brendan is also like, and goes and starts doing the plank as well. So at the moment we've got I just continued reading the whole team. So all of the other Kotovas are in the plank position. Like, the solidarity that this group has. And like, Jeffrey, I'm guessing, it's either Jeffrey or Joffrey. Honestly, I can't tell what the difference is with pronunciation and spelling. Anyway, he's just been given the old by the whole team, and I love it. I love it, but also the fact that Luca was the one that started it, I'm like, I love this so much. Oh my goodness. I'm going to continue reading now, but this there are so many parts in this that are just so sweet. And I'm just like, Luca. Okay, so the director claims that this was a test to see whether, you know, the team were really teaming. But I don't care. I have already decided that this was just a big old F you to him because I hate his guts. Anyways, I'm like probably halfway through. So I'll probably finish in a couple of hours, maybe. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I keep taking breaks. It's like, am I slowing down from this readathon? And then I'm like, no, Rowena. No. You can do this. And it's not that I'm not disinterested either. Maybe it's just the fact that I love this so much that I don't want it to end. That's actually more so what it is, isn't it? Because there are no more. But I want there to be more. So there has been a development in Thora and Nikolai's relationship, which I kind of guessed already. The company, I don't understand them. Essentially, Thora is pregnant. And they are going to force her to perform aerial silks in a number of weeks' time because there's some critics or something like that who are attending, and nobody else knows the aerial silks like Nikolai and Thora. It's like, surely that goes against every single health and safety regulation. And it's like, oh, if you don't do it, then you won't get paid for what you have worked with your contract. And all of this came out because Luca and Bailey were hiding in the showers. But yeah, there was a part where I'll just take these off. Where Thora kind of comes into the restaurant that Nikolai, Sergei, Timo, Katya, and Luca are at. And she's there and she's crying a lot. And so I was just kind of like, There were just a couple of different things where I was like, is she pregnant? It was just in the sense that she was sobbing and Nikolai was kind of hiding her away from the others, so maybe they couldn't lip read what she was saying or something. So I was just kind of like, Anyway, and I hate Jeffrey. I hate him. He's a scum of the earth human being. That's my update for now. Jeffrey the arsewipe knows. So he says that they have a week for either Bay or Luca to quit, or Jeffrey tells the higher up people that Luca had assaulted him and then fires him. So obviously Bay's like, I'll quit, and then Luca's like, no, I'll quit. And but it's like, Luca can't quit though, because so back at the bar where in the last book Thora had nippy nips pierced by Nikolai. In this book for Katya's birthday, they went, so Katya ended up getting her nose pierced and Luca got the same tattoo as Nikolai got right at the end of the last book. So on his ribs he has Circus's family. Everything he knows is at the circus. Everyone he loves is at the circus. He that's all he knows. I'm like, you can't quit. But then Bay, it's like, you can't quit either. But if they both quit, then no minors can be in the show, like, at all. So Katya, she'd be out. All the other families that are there, like probably more younger cousins who are under 18, they're out. Like, damn. And I will just say, this wasn't a trigger warning that was at the beginning of the book. I can't remember if I said this before when it was happening, but Thora sadly miscarried. So if that is something that you also don't want to read, then don't read this. I think that is important to note. But anyway, I'm going to continue reading now and just see how this goes. I've probably got about another hour or so, and then I'll be finished. So the love that Nikolai has for his younger siblings is just insane. Because basically, like, obviously Luca, he wasn't supposed to be with Bailey, like, this whole time. And so he's like going, and he was like, he's, you know, he quit, he packed up his stuff, he's saying his goodbyes, and it dawned on Nikolai why Luca was doing it. And then so then Luca says, I would do more than anything for fight. Oh wait, no. But that's what Nikolai says about Thora. Basically, he's just saying, you know, I have Thora, I get it. And he says, some love is infinite, and I'm going to help you fight for yours. So I don't know what Nikolai is going to try do, but essentially, like, you know, Bailey and Luke have been blackmailed, and Nikolai is not doing that. He's not allowing that to happen. So I don't know what's going to occur, but I'm just so relieved. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised though, but Nikolai's like, you know, whatever this is, like, you know, I'm always on your side no matter what. And I'm just like, anyway, I'm going to continue reading now. I have like it's like a little kernel of hope, and I'm just like, please make this all go right. So I might be mistaken, but I think what is occurring is, so like earlier where Bailey was doing the plank, and then everybody who was in that training area at the time eventually all started doing the plank alongside Luca and Brendan, who first kind of started off planking with Bailey. I think they've all just like walked off, like they're just like, we're not performing tonight. Oh, circus is family. Circus is family. And I love them. Even though Dimitri's still kind of gross, I'm still intrigued by him. So I really hope there is a book on him one day. Please, Krista and Becca, please. Okay, good news everyone. Bailey is still in. Luca is still in. It worked. The boycott, it worked. It was like a boycott kind of thing from the performers. Jeffrey the snake is still there, which is unfortunate. Whatever. But yeah, so now they're kind of just doing like life with them all there still. But now Bailey has just been told that she has to do the juggling with the machetes again. I'm like, so she did the plank for nothing? Ugh. Anyways, I'm just glad. Oh, and like those contracts that they filled out right at the beginning have been revoked, so they can be together now, like out in the open. I mean, not getting it down out in the open, that's not. but actually showing affection to one another. You know that it was going to happen that way, but you're still like, and then you're like, anyway, I'm going to continue reading now. There's only that much left, so not long to go. And then I have to wait if they ever do any more books. They need to do more. I need to know, but I need to have like a story about Katya. I need one about Dimitri. And I reckon Sergey, the big brother that chose to go off for the travelling circus. The one who, I think, is he the one that's 2 years older than Nikolai, or the one that's 2 years younger? I can't remember. Anyway, one of the older ones. I want to know more about him as well. So that's like at least 3 books, because I don't want one about Timo, just in the sense that he has John. So I'm like, you two can't have anything bad happening to you. Like, you guys can just live happily, like, on the sidelines. Like, I'll hear updates about your relationship that way, but only good updates, okay? No heartbreak. Thank you very much. Well, I finished. And I loved it. So there was something in here that was also sexual assault related, which wasn't in the trigger warning. So again, if that is something that you don't want discussed in books, again, avoid. It's not mentioned for very long, and I wonder if it is something that will potentially, if there are other books, be explored more. It was mentioned very, very vaguely. Essentially what occurred is Luca, Timo and Katya were at a party when they were children, and they were forced by a teenage child of the host to essentially, they had to undress, the guy undressed himself, and then I think touched himself inappropriately. I think that's what I gathered. But yeah, like I say, it's discussed very, very briefly. And again, I do wonder, especially when there's some things talked about with Katya a wee while back, like it was back during a pool party and she had been on a date with a guy, that I wonder whether that is like a past event that would be explored more, especially if there is a book about Katya. But yeah, otherwise I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I love the Kotovas. I love the dynamic, because obviously there are so many Kotovas there. There are so many. So like different family dynamics. I think it also actually would have been nice if you had more of Brendan as well. We didn't have too much of Brendan. We didn't have too much of Camilla, John's cousin, who Thora stayed with in the first book for a wee bit. We got a little bit of her, but I'm also like, there could be something between her and Dimitri, in my eyes anyway. So it's like, I feel like there were a number of things that cropped up in this book which I feel like could be explored more in future books. So we need more people reading these, more people hyping them up, so Krista and Becca know to do more books. Oh these people because I loved it. Anyway, we've got to this time of the day again where I have to say that brings us to the end of this reading vlog, and either later on tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how I'm feeling, because again, this is me starting a new series. This will be me starting the final portion actually of this readathon, because I will be starting the Like Us series. Now, there are 11 books for me to get through of those. Actually, no, is this the last part? Because I might read Love and Other Cursed Things and then The Raging Ones and The Last Hope. Or do I want to try give myself still some more Krista and Becca books? Anyway, this brings us to the end of this reading vlog of the Secret Ex-Boyfriend, which is book number 2 in the Circuses Family series. We'll say series, not duet. If we say duet, then it's definitely finished. There will be more. There has to be more. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope seeing my face did not make it worse for you. Okay, bye. Shoo.